Appreciate your time today. And the latest inflation numbers are not good. They are hotter than expected. Sound familiar? Yeah, it should. Because I'm looking at a graphic here on my screen where the inflation numbers are plotted since February of 2020. February of 2020, Donald Trump, of course, was still in office. And in February of 2020, they were at 2.3% year over year. And then there's a precipitous plunge all the way down to 0.1%, which not even 1%, 0.1% in May of 20. Donald Trump's still president. We move along, and then we get to February of 2021. We'll let Biden have the last 10 days of January when inflation was at 1.4%. And then in February of 21, it was at 1.7%. Nothing to worry about. Transitory. It's actually good. We expected it, right? Then we got the American Rescue Plan. We got all kinds of spending. And, well, from there, it looks like the biggest roller coaster you've ever ridden on. Rising from February of 21, 1.7% to an apex of 9.1% in June of 2022. Now, it comes down, it starts to come down, down, flat lines, down a little more. Whoops! June of 23, we're at 3%. We're getting close, ready to cut rates, right? No, it goes back up. And it has been going back up, and then it went down a little bit, but going back up, now it's back up. So what this shows is that if the Fed cuts rates, and they were supposed to cut them in March, they're supposed to cut them at their last meeting. They didn't. We were thinking 6 rate hikes. Six rate cuts were coming. That's what we were told. 6 rate cuts are coming. Don't worry. Presidential election, everything's fine. Bidenomics is working. Rate cuts are coming. Now, rate cuts did not happen in March. The economists who are assessing today's numbers say, well, let me just read it to you. Someone named Seema Shah, Chief Global Strategist at Principal Asset Management, said today's crucial consumer price index has likely sealed the fate of the June Federal Reserve meeting, with a cut now very unlikely. So March, we're going to get the first cut. June, we get another one. July, we get another one. 6 cuts, right? No. This marks, she says, the 3rd consecutive strong reading for inflation, and means that the stalled disinflationary narrative can no longer be called a blip. In other words, Bidenomics is not working. Your wages are not keeping up with prices. Her continued analysis goes on to say, even if inflation were to cool next month to a more comfortable reading, why would it? It's been up above estimates for 3 consecutive months. Her analysis continues. There is likely sufficient caution within the Fed now to mean that a July cut may also be a stretch, by which point the U.S. election will begin to intrude with the Fed decision making. Aha, there we go. There we go. Someone who's willing to say what is inarguable, that Jerome Powell's job as Fed chairman hinges upon Joe Biden getting reelected, and that Jerome Powell will be faced with a decision. Does he want to do what's right for America, or does he want to do what's right for Jerome Powell? Joe Biden wants him to cut rates because the market has tanked since the numbers came out this morning. And so Jerome Powell is going to be very, very tempted to do what Joe Biden wants him to do, because if Donald Trump gets elected, Trump has already said he's going to fire Jerome Powell. And why would he not be fired? They kept telling us that inflation was not a big deal, not a big deal, not a big deal. Oh, wait, it is a big deal. Okay, let's raise rates 11 times. And now Jamie Dimon, the top banker in the country, who every time he opens his mouth, people pay very close attention to what he says interest rates on homes are headed back above 8%. Now, I paid more than that for my first home mortgage in 1988, but that's instructive, is it not? Because why did I pay 10%, which was below market? Bought my home from a gentleman in Upper Arlington who was a realtor who owned the home in which I purchased, and he said, here's the deal. I'll carry your mortgage at 10%. And I was getting a deal because market rates were above that. This is 1988. Why were they so high? Because in 1980, when Ronald Reagan was elected president, Jimmy Carter was voted out of office because interest rates on home mortgages were at 18%. 18%. They were at 18% because inflation was raging out of control. And let's just do the math, shall we? From 1980 to 1988 is how many years, class? 8 years. If mortgage rates were 18% in 1980 and that got Carter voted out of office, and mortgage rates, I paid 10%. Remember, I was below market in 1988. What does that tell you? It took 8 years to knock interest rates down from 18 to, I'll just say 10. They weren't 10. I got a better deal through my realtor who carried my loan. And then I think it was about 1992, 1991-ish when rates started to come down and I refinanced and got a lower rate than 10%. It's not transitory. It's not imaginary. It's real. And Joe Biden is going to continue to lie about it. Janet Yellen's going to continue to lie about it. Everybody in government is going to continue to lie about it because their continual political survival depends upon them lying about it. But you want to blame it on gas prices? I'm looking at a headline right now here. It says, get ready for $5 a gallon gasoline. Well, I certainly hope. I don't know. I can't predict the immorality of America. But I certainly hope that if gas gets to $5 a gallon, that and the prices at the pump that will, or the prices in the grocery that will certainly escalate, because how are you going to get that merchandise to market without trucking it there? And if the trucking costs go up, then your costs at the grocery store are going to go up. Your costs on lumber are going to go up because anything that's got to be trucked anywhere is going to be tied to the price of gas. If gas goes back up, cost of goods is going to continue to go back up. I certainly hope that Joe Biden would bear an electoral consequence for that, although I'm not sure because, as I say, there are enough trampy women out there and irresponsible men out there who will impregnate women, and those women will not surrender their tie to the bloodlust of abortion and the holy sacrament of Democrats, the blood of innocent unborn children. I can't predict whether the immorality of America is out of control enough that they'll be able to prattle on about abortion, freedom of reproduction rights, and blah, blah, blah. I can't predict if that will outweigh the economic reality that most American families have to face. I was having a conversation yesterday with a gentleman I met a couple of days ago. Shout out Dana. He was like, do you think things are getting better? I'm like, no, they're not getting better. Here's how things are working for me. He's like, well, here's how things are working for me. And you know what we had in common? They're not working for either one of us. And they're likely not working for you. If you take out, the Bidens will say, take out food and energy. They're volatile. You got to take those out. Okay, let's take those out. Core prices, which do not include food and energy, were also above expectations at 3.8% compared to last year. Here is how they talked about it when the numbers became apparent this morning on CNBC. Yeah, that's the issue. Would you like a long view of the increase in prices by certain commodities since Biden took office? You would? Okay, great. Here you go. I'm ready. Since Joe Biden took office, gas was nationally, when he took office, $2.40 a gallon. So it's up 48% since Biden took office. Groceries are up 21%. Eating out, up 21%. Baby food. Well, they don't want baby food. They don't care about baby food. They don't care about babies. But if you do care about babies, baby food is up 31%. Pet food. Joe Biden, he likes dogs. He likes dogs that bite Secret Service agents. Pet food is up 24%. Rent is up 21%. Oh, affordable housing. Well, blame the guy who orchestrated this crap fest. Electricity up 28%. Used cars up 21%. Airfare 33%. Public transit 22%. And real average weekly earnings. Oh, here's something that's down 4%. I haven't even gotten into your mortgage. If you now are buying a house, your mortgage is $300, $400, $500 more a month.
Clouds and a bit of rain this afternoon, high 64. Rain from late evening on tonight, 59. Heavy rains tomorrow, thunderstorm, breezy, could be some gusty winds, small hail, even an isolated tornado. Tomorrow, 72. Cloudy, windy, and cool, showers Friday.
Your caller just wanted to mention the failure of the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
73.
Good point.
But maybe if they deployed Commander at the border, nobody would be breaking in. Instead of fighting Secret Service agents, you can fight the people trying to come here illegally.
Exactly.
This is Bob Friends, and that step is to call Sky Roofing at 614-280-9308. Look, Sky Roofing is not some fly-by-night storm chaser company that comes in after a storm, claims they fixed your leaks, then disappears before it starts leaking again, leaving you to find someone else. No, Sky Roofing is here for the long haul. They've been serving Ohio homeowners for over 2 decades, and their pledge is to treat your roof like it was one of their own. So if your roof is in disrepair, maybe you've got some gaps in the shingles, or maybe your roof has served its time well for you, but you just need a new one, the damage that's going to be caused by all of those leaks is going to be worse than the cost of getting it done right. Do yourself a favor, get it done right. Call Sky Roofing, 614-280-9308. Call today, get a great quote, learn more at skyroofinginc.com. Sky Roofing is roofing done right.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-353-2973 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
Bruce Hooley here, and if you watch the news at all, you know that Mike Lindell and his MyPillow family no longer have the support of big box stores or the shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of the cancel culture, and they're the targets, so they want to pass the savings of being canceled directly onto you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was a one-product company. With the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some of which you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. For instance, a 2-pack multi-use MyPillow, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping too. This amazing offer won't last long, so go to MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
In commercial back soon. Appreciate you guys joining us today.
Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Don't put anything in your body that's not good for your body. It seems like a pretty self-evident statement, but if you are unaware, you should be very aware that a lot of the products that you're using on a daily basis, mouthwash, toothpaste, deodorant, detergent to clean your clothes, clean your dishes, contain materials that you looked at the label, you'd go, what? What is this? I can't identify this. If that is your situation, and trust me, it is, if you're buying all your personal care products, cleaning products, and other items from a big box store, well then, clean up that situation, literally and figuratively, by going to patriotswitch.com/Bruce. That is where you can leave your information, and I'll reach out to you and tell you about products made by one company, shipped all over the United States and Canada, not outsourced, not made in Mexico, not made in China. In fact, everything's made from plants grown in America. It's an awesome company. Ship it right to your house and credit back the shipping to your account the next month. And the shipping's never more than $10. Check it out. patriotswitch.com/Bruce. patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Horrible, horrible circumstance took place yesterday, right as we were starting this show, it appears. A fatal shooting of a Southern Ohio Corrections Department employee. His name was Lieutenant Rodney Osborne. He was at the correctional training facility in Orient when he was killed, again, accidentally by gunfire during a training exercise. Here is a comment from the Ohio State Patrol, which will be investigating this incident. Say the incident appears to be a tragic accident being investigated by the OHP. Mr. Osborne, Officer Osborne, was the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility's Employee of the Year, and he earned that honor. He was named the recipient of that honor just last week. So not a lot of details on this. I've looked at numerous sites to indicate how this can happen. You certainly have to know the details of what kind of training exercise they were undergoing at the time, but that is really, really, really horrific news. I got this text last night from a friend apprising me of the fact that no school in Hilliard today. No school in Hilliard today. No, not another eclipse. They're not that special. They don't get their own total solar eclipse in Hilliard. They are closed today in observance of the Muslim holiday, and I'll butcher the name, but there's a Muslim, I won't even try because I don't want to be disrespectful. They're closed in observance of a Muslim holiday. They are the first Ohio school district to do so, to close for a Muslim holiday. The school board in Hilliard decided to do this because they said that in previous years they've had as many as 20% of their students absent on this particular holiday, and it only made logistical sense for the district to remain closed. Is that true? Like if 20% of your kids are out, you got to close the whole school? Don't you still have 80% there? I mean, my math's a little fuzzy. Do I oppose this? Maybe, maybe I don't. Here's what I would like to know. Do they close for Christian holidays? I asked that question last night. I was told, well, when Good Friday happened, they were on spring break, so they were already closed. Do they close for Jewish holidays? Do they close, I don't know what the population of Hilliard is and whether they would have 20%, of students who wouldn't go. But it's just, I think if you're going to apply this across the board, okay. I personally think kids need to be in school. I take a skeptical view of closing school for, I pretty much would be someone who would monitor any reason why you would close school. Okay? I thought it was, in advance, I thought it was dumb to close during the eclipse. Now, in hindsight, realizing how many people were on the roads and everything during the eclipse, I actually think the schools that closed made a good decision. Those of you who clogged up the highways, you made a bad decision because you made life miserable on Monday afternoon for those of us who worked and tried to get where we're going in a normal fashion. Now, you guys know that I have been in journalism for the entirety of my professional career, regrettably. If I could go back to graduating from high school and enter a different field, I decidedly, most assuredly, and without any reservation would. I don't know what I would have done, but I wouldn't have done this because my profession has become a cesspool of wokeness. I will demonstrate that with sound bites and other news developments throughout the day. But I find very interesting the way a story is being reported today by pretty much everybody in town, television station, websites, particularly the Columbus Dispatch, in that yesterday, 3 Jewish organizations filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights, alleging that Ohio State University, quote, failed to address the severe discrimination and harassment of Jewish and Israeli students in the aftermath of October the 7th. The 3 Jewish organizations are Stand With Us, the Anti-Defamation League, and the Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law. Their allegation is that Ohio State students who are Jewish have faced, quote, a litany of anti-Semitic incidents, verbal taunts, and threats, as well as outright physical assault since Hamas terrorists broke a ceasefire, by the way, went into Israel and butchered over 1,000 innocent Israeli citizens. They didn't take on the IDF. Now they're too cowardly to do that. They butchered Israeli citizens and children, raped women, took over 200 hostages. And Ohio State, in its response, according to this story in the Columbus Dispatch, does not disagree that the acts of violence and discrimination have taken place on campus, but said that it has acted to make the university safe for all. I would give you great detail on this story, except that there is no detail in the story on the television websites or in the Columbus Dispatch reporting. This is a big deal, okay? Now, those who did the reporting will say, well, all the details are there, Bruce. Yeah, kinda, sorta, hidden in plain sight. You have to, they say, click here to read the legal filing. So you gotta click and then read through the legal filing. You got a busy day there? Sheridan Hendricks at the Dispatch, you got a busy day there? Other reporters at local television stations, you can't do what you're paid to do, which is go through the complaint yourself and actually report the details of what has happened to Jewish students. You don't have time to do that, do you? No, you don't want to do that because you don't want to, A, take on the bear, Ohio State, and B, you don't want people in this city who read your site, who sympathize with Hamas, to push back on you for publishing details of what's gone on campus since Hamas went into Israel. That's why you are forcing people to click on the link and read the PDF. Despite ample notice to the university, I'm reading from the legal filing, OSU has failed to remediate these issues adequately. OSU has contributed to a hostile climate for Jewish and Israeli students through inconsistent or deliberate inaction, refusal to enforce its own policies, dismissiveness toward Jewish students' concerns, and unequal treatment of Jewish and Israeli students. I got time to read it. Why don't you?
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Another day of wild weather in store for the South. Already, emergency workers have rescued people from flooded homes and cars in one Texas town. Residents of a Mississippi county were warned to flee over fears that a levee would fail. And schools and government offices are closed in Louisiana. The storms bring high winds and the threat of tornadoes. Sell-off on Wall Street prompted by the latest inflation report. The Consumer Price Index has prices rising 0.4% from February to March. 5 months in jail, the sentence for former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg. The 76-year-old pleaded guilty to perjury and lying during testimony in a lawsuit brought against Mr. Trump by the New York Attorney General. And watching Wall Street this morning, stock bar sharply lower. The Dow is down 431 points, while the Nasdaq is off 152. More details at srnnews.com.
urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. The government will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000 with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may be entitled to a significant financial reward for your Camp Lejeune claim and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement with your VA benefits fully protected. But the deadline for filing is fast approaching, so you need to act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune, and with the deadline coming, you need to call now or you may forever lose your right to a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-774-9900. 800-774-9900. 800-774-90...
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, tune in, or iHeart. Trish Regan provides the analysis you need each day on the Trish Regan Podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
The Democrats keep getting this one wrong. They think that they can just flip states. That suddenly all the Hispanics are going to vote for Joe Biden. And in fact, what you're actually seeing in places like Texas is Hispanics. They're overwhelmingly coming out in favor of Trump.
Subscribe to the Trish Regan Podcast today on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos. A better, easier way to get term life insurance. All online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I've been taking it for a while now. I feel better. I live on the Balance of Nature. I plan on taking it forever.
I've been a very happy customer. I like the product, and I'm telling a lot of people about it.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code BALANCE.
We are strong, and we'll get through this together. But these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Well, it's going to rain today. It's going to be a lousy day today, but sunny days are coming, and that means sunny days on the deck or patio, and hopefully that means a great steak cooked out on your grill or on your Traeger. And if you're looking for great steak, don't go to the grocery store. You'll pay more for an inferior product. Do it online. Have it delivered right to your door, flashed frozen, aged to perfection. Excellent marbling, bred that way so that the cuts are all USDA choice and prime. I'm talking about riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. I shouted out my man Dana yesterday, earlier in the show, and he asked me about riverbendranchsteaks.com. And I said, I'll bring you one, and you can try it. Now, I can't do that with everybody. Don't be emailing me, asking me for a free steak. But if you ever taste a Riverbend Ranch steak, you will love it. You can cancel after a month if I'm wrong, but I won't be wrong. You'll love it. You don't even have to order every month. You can order every other month if you like, and you will like it. In fact, you will love it. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. The pocket governor will be giving his State of the State address today at noon. Mike DeWine appearing before a joint session of leaders in the Ohio General Assembly. This will be his fourth State of the State address. Sadly, not his last, most likely. I don't mean to wish ill on the governor health-wise. I'm just tired of I'm tired of him vanishing. Like, when do you hear from him? Like, the leader of the state. Let me ask you a question. Do you hear more from Ron DeSantis or do you hear more from Mike DeWine? Is it close? It's not close, right? It makes Purdue and UConn look like a close game. If I asked you, how often do you hear from Ron DeSantis? And how often do you hear from Mike DeWine? How often do you hear from Glenn Youngkin? And how often do you hear from Mike DeWine? Okay, how often do you hear from Greg Abbott? That might be an unfair fight. Because Abbott has the border, you complain about that every single day. But how often do you hear from the governor? Like, what a gig, right? Ah, gee, you mean I got to go to the General Assembly and do the State of the State? Now, for all you dorks in the DeWine administration who would say, well, that means it's running like clockwork. You don't have to hear from the governor. Look up the word leader in the dictionary, okay? Look that word up. Ohioans would like to hear from the people they put in office. You know, on one hand, you can't, as a Republican in the state of Ohio in an elected office, mock Joe Biden, who's never out in public, and on the other hand say, oh, our governor's doing a tremendous job. By the way, it's just word to the wise here. John Husted, if you want to be the next governor of the state of Ohio, and I know you do, you're allowed to speak publicly from time to time too. If Mike won't come out of his hole because he's hibernating or hiding, you're allowed to come out and speak to the people of the state of Ohio. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Biden, however, do you hear more from Biden or do you hear more from Mike DeWine? And Biden's got a reason to hide. It got him to the Oval Office, hiding in 2020. Oh, well, he's the president. He's got to go. I still think we should see Mike DeWine more often. And no, I will not take the opportunity to make the joke there that I could make. All right. The border is a disaster. Biden yesterday doing an interview with Univision, a Hispanic television network, talking about Donald Trump and how he hates Hispanics. Here is Joe Biden doing what he always does when his lips are moving, lying. Maybe, Joe, Hispanics are jealous because you didn't just grow up, you know, in a Hispanic Latino neighborhood. You were also, let me see if I can remember all of them from yesterday, Irish, Catholic, black neighborhood, Greek, Italian. He is the personification, Biden. If you listen to him and believe him, which you'd have to be stupid to do either. He is literally the personification of the old Johnny Cash song. Well, I don't think it was a Johnny Cash song. Johnny Cash covered it. I've been everywhere, man. Joe Biden has been everywhere, man. He has been raised everywhere, man. So Daniel Garza is the head of an organization called the Libre Initiative. First, let me give you the polls on Hispanics toward Biden. And this is not a Fox News poll. It's not a Wall Street Journal poll. This is an Axios Telemundo poll, okay? So this is a lefty poll. In January of 2021, when Joe Biden took office, right after that election, Biden won 53% approval among Hispanics. Trump had 24% approval. Or maybe that was, that was the breakdown on the election. 53 to 24. You know what it is now? Biden's at 41, Trump's at 32. If that holds through the election, we'll all be able to say goodbye to Joe one last time as he stumbles across the White House lawn and mumbles incoherently as people shout questions at him over the horror of the helicopter blades. If that holds, he's done, okay? He's done. So here's Daniel Garza of the Libre Initiative, a Hispanic advocacy organization, talking about why Hispanics are moving to Biden and Biden's assessment that Trump just hates Hispanics. That is 100% true. And that's why I think that with the inflation numbers out today, that inflation is getting worse, not better, hotter, not colder. We will continue to see Hispanics flock to Trump. Now, of course, abortion. That will be a factor. But here is Garza on Democrats who fawn over Biden. Ah! I know it's dangerous to generalize, but I will just give you my anecdotal impression of people who I have encountered through having them work at my home or working in tandem with them on certain business endeavors. And that is that the work ethic of Hispanic people is where I wish the work ethic of American people remained. We used to have a great work ethic in America. Hispanic people work so hard. And you know why they do that? Because they recognize the opportunity available to them here in the United States of America, and they want to take full advantage of it. What about Biden's open border policy? Daniel Garza of the Libre Initiative on whether that is popular with Hispanic Americans or not. It is off the charts. You're absolutely right, Daniel Garza. And there is a report out this morning by Axios that Biden is considering executive action on the border. So all those times they told us, nothing I can do, I need more money, I need more agents, I need more this, I need more of that. They are getting hurt so bad by their unhinged from reality border policies that they now are willing to do what they first undid, Trump's border policies, and then were so far unwilling to do. And the cover that they have from the media is that the media will never mention that this is a reversal of policy.
Cloudy and breezy on Sunday, the high 73.
Or how could we as humans live on the moon? And sometimes you've heard the word full moon. And sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see. And sometimes you've heard the word full moon. And sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see. A full moon is that complete rounded circle, which is made up mostly of gases. And that's why the question is why or how could we as humans live on the moon? Are the gases such that we could do that? The sun is a mighty powerful heat that is almost impossible to go near the sun. The moon is more manageable. And you will see in a moment, or not a moment, you'll see in a couple of years that NASA is going back to the moon. And so
spring and summer and those activities that you love so much, call QC Kinetics today, 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax.
We started our company 10 years ago in an effort to help our fellow Christians experiencing tax issues resolve their matters by taking a simple 3-step approach.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys that specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We're the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results. We're also a small firm who will treat you like family, not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800
for a certain amount of time, because then just this past week I saw, I don't remember which celebrity, but it was actually a celebrity, and I was like, I don't know, that's not necessarily a bad idea. But I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket. But at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly. And so it's like, if you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and aren't really paying taxes in the first place, it doesn't really exactly.
They may want those checks like they got.
Exactly. Just this.
.org/moveover for more information, and use #moveover on social media to join us. With service of the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police and this station.
If you are someone who has a student that is graduating this spring and they still have not made up their mind where they're going to college, or even if they have, maybe it's time for a second look at Ohio Christian University. Ohio Christian University, located in Circleville, debuting its new Bachelor of Science program in biology this fall. You want science? And we're going to talk about science and Democrats' view of science coming out of this break. But if you want like real science that shows deference to the creator of all things, then you want to go to Ohio Christian University. And that's not just in the science program, the new biology program at OCU. It is across campus in every program, built into the instruction, a respect for and exaltation of God. If you want a solid biblical foundation built under your student, Ohio Christian University is the place to go. And you can reduce your tuition by $2,500 when you purchase a $5,000 tuition scholarship for $2,500. Go to the Discount Shopping Club at 989 The Answer to do so. 989theanswer.com, the Discount Shopping Club. I missed this on Monday, the day of the eclipse, but got to bring it to you now. Played yesterday for you. Remember Sonny Hostin, the View dope, who said that the eclipse was proof of climate change, only to be fact-checked live on air by the intellectual giants Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, who reminded her that earthquakes happen in the center of the earth, or impervious to climate, and that the eclipse has been on the books predicted because of movements of the moon and sun for decades. So that didn't fly. I thought, when I brought that to you, that that was the dumbest take on the eclipse, but I was wrong. Here is Democrat, of course, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee making a speech on Monday at an eclipse watch party. Almost? The moon is made mostly of gases, Sheila Jackson Lee said. Could she have been confused that her brain is made mostly of gases, or that her words are mostly those of a gas bag? I'm just working off memory here. Maybe it's faulty. It's been a while. I remember distinctly watching Neil Armstrong of Wapakoneta, Ohio, walk on the moon in 1968. I saw him jump off the ladder. And if the moon were made mostly of gases, wouldn't that have been the last time we saw Neil? But I'm pretty sure he made it back to Ohio and hung around for a long, long time until it was unfortunate passing here a few years ago. Didn't we bring back rocks from the moon? I think we did. I remember going to the Neil Armstrong Museum. I remember seeing a moon rock. Not made of gas, a moon rock. The moon, not made of gas. Sheila Jackson Lee. Could we live on the moon? Yes, but not if it was made mostly, as you said, of gases. This woman has been elected and re-elected and re-elected to Congress numerous times. So there you go. And I would say she is the dumbest person in Congress. But of course, I don't have proof of that because there's never been a game of reverse Jeopardy played between clueless people like Jamal Bowman, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Sheila Jackson Lee, and a woman who until today I'd never heard of, and I was better for not knowing about her, Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, Democrat. Isn't it strange? No, all these people are Democrats. Democrat. Remember the guy, Hank Johnson, the guy who thought Guam would sink into the ocean? Democrat. Here's Jasmine Crockett suggesting that perhaps something she overheard the day before, that blacks should be totally exempt from paying federal taxes, might be a good idea. Oh, a celebrity. Not a bad idea. Yes, so far behind that you're voted to Congress. And we're such a systemically racist country that you are voted to Congress, and that Congress is full of people of various ethnic backgrounds. If we are a systemically racist country, let me just say, we suck at it. We really suck at being a systemically racist country because, of course, we are not a systemically racist country. Okay, and I hate to be blunt with those words. I don't use that kind of language around my kids, but it's just inane, utterly inane, that these people who have risen to as close as you can get to unchecked privilege continue to bellyache and complain about the country which has given them everything. It's not just Sheila Jackson Lee. It's not just this Jasmine Crockett. It's not just politicians. I played for you the cut the other day. Dawn Staley, South Carolina women's basketball coach, a Hall of Fame women's basketball player who you would never have heard of in your life if she were forced to play against men as her basketball career unfolded. Saying that men should be allowed to play women's sports. That if you feel like a woman, you know, you go through life, Shania Twain's old country hit is your mantra. I feel like man, I feel like a woman. That's Leah Thomas. That's all these dudes fully still biologically intact. Man, I feel like a woman. So I should be able to play. And Dawn Staley says, yes, you should be able to play. Have you heard this flap about Joe Biden not being on the ballot in November in Ohio? This is not Frank LaRose staging some kind of a political coup. This is not Frank LaRose, our Secretary of State, trying to do what they tried to do in certain states around the country and keeping Donald Trump off the ballot because insurrection. No, Frank LaRose is posing the scenario where Joe Biden might not be on the ballot, not because of insurrection, but because of incompetence and ignorance on the part of the Democratic Party. Ohio has laws and deadlines as to when you have to have your candidate certified to be on the ballot. And that deadline in the state of Ohio for a November 5th election is August 7th, because that is 90 days in advance of the election. One problem, the Democratic National Convention and nominating process is not scheduled to begin until 12 days after the Ohio deadline. Now, they're all up in Frank LaRose's grill about this, but all he's doing is defending existing Ohio law. Did we sneak this in on the Biden people that they didn't know this? No, it's been on the books forever. So either our General Assembly is going to have to change the law, or Democrats are going to have to change their nominating date. I don't think it'd be a good idea to keep him off the ballot. I really don't. Because that would fire up Democrats to come out and vote for Sherrod Brown. Would fire him. Oh, look, he's not even allowed on the ballot. Oh, these election deniers. No, let him on the ballot, because there'll be no enthusiasm for Biden on the ballot. Thus, there'll be relatively little or lesser enthusiasm for Sherrod Brown being on the ballot. Hey, Tony Perkins, head of the Family Research Council, is going to join us next. Don't miss it.
Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing
The moon made mostly of gases. Mostly of gases. So we learned that today from the great Sheila Jackson Lee. The fantastic Sheila Jackson Lee. Yes. Social media post, abortion is a sacrament to the left. It is their holy sacrament. You're right, 100% right. So that'll do it for today. Hit me up if you are interested in PatriotSwitch.com products. They're great. We get our shipment every month. They're fantastic. The body lotion, the makeup, my kids love that. My girls love the makeup. The cleaning products are fantastic. The steaks from Riverbend Ranch are fantastic. And if you need flooring, hey, I'm your man. Soft step carpet and flooring in Plain City. We'll be having evening hours very soon, and I'll be in there in the evening, packing my Glock 19 in case any crazy people show up. I'm sort of kidding. Not really, though. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.